Well, he did it. He qualified to Worlds with TSM after eliminating Cloud9, who will not be going to Worlds for the first time in their existence, I guess. Of course, this coverage is brought to you by Alienware, but I'm joined right now by Doublelift to discuss the big match, the big hullabaloo, the crazy showdown on the rift between him and Cloud9. All right, so I didn't get a chance to talk to you last week after the Golden Guardians game, but I saw the interview that you did on the broadcast, and it seems like you were super stressed going into that match. So did you feel more confident going into this one?
Oh yeah, I definitely knew that we needed a bit more time to gel as a team because we were going through some problems. We were, switching out supports, and we were honestly having like some really crazy scrims with like a meta that I like. Basically, sometimes in scrims something looks really OP, and then the entire draft just gets revolved around abusing the OP pick or trying to find a counter. And I knew that we had basically just wasted like multiple days of practice, because at the end of it, we realized that the pick actually isn't that OP, and we just haven't improved in any way as a team. We're doing like crazy drafts, and I think we just needed more time. And against Golden Guardians, I felt like if we went to game 5, and by all accounts, like we could have really easily lost that series, obviously, not reverse swept them. So I think we had like a huge amount of improvement, and I knew that we just needed to get our head together and like figure shit out for playoffs. So coming into the C9 series, I felt really good. I knew that we were going to shit on the bot lane. I knew that we were just going to have like way better drafts, way better read on the meta, and also just my internal like read on the game and my ability to assess the situation, make the right call. I knew that was going to be better because we just needed a bit more time to gel, and we got it.
Well, I know that one of the things that Kobe was talking about a lot was the idea that you actually were really helped out by that 5-game series against Golden Guardians, that playing in that high stakes, going to 5 games, having the experience on stage back with your Biofrost and the support situation might have really helped you improve as a team. Do you think that was true, that like that specific series really helped elevate you guys?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that's really underrated is like when you play a series, you want to figure out what you're doing that works and then try to build on that. And we were trying to do that in the middle of the series against Golden Guardians. Like after game 2, we're like, we need to figure out what we're doing that's good, do more of that, very simply put, and what we're doing that's causing us to fall behind and lose, do less of that. After you play a series, you're not only building experience and confidence in like different situations, but like what you're doing is you're figuring out how to play your game as a team and put the enemy team on basically like your tempo, trying to always make them play into your hands, just reading the map and pacing the game how you envision it as a team. So it was really important to play that series, and obviously like getting more momentum as like we're reverse sweeping them. And against C9, I don't know, like C9 obviously fell off a lot. I don't want to say that like we're like the god team or anything like that. I think we have a lot to work on. We still have a lot to work on for the rest of the playoffs. But C9 has fallen off a lot. I knew that they weren't as scary. Also, there's like a mental element I feel like where when you play against a team that's on an upswing like that and kind of like doing something miraculous, which is like coming back against Golden Guardians, you know that team's going to be better and better over time. And I'd say like as far as the mental element of it goes, like we just match up really well against C9 in a lot of ways, and their bot lane is not as high pressure, I guess, to play against as Golden Guardians bot lane. So it just enables our team to play more fluidly. And I mean, this is not really in any way trying to like flame Sven and Wilken. I think they're great players. It's just they don't honestly put too much resources or attention to bot. So it just lets me personally and maybe more of the team feel like the game is going how we want it to.
Yeah.
And that felt really good through the series. Just like the game was always going kind of exactly how we wanted it to.
Well, how are things going now with, and I think we're getting a little bit of noise from your mic just because you're bouncing around, but
oh, my bad.
How are things going now with Biofrost now that he's back? Do you feel like everything's worked out? You know, like the thing that it kind of reminds me of is halfway through the split, we saw Wild Turtle get subbed out, he came back in, started to really play well. I don't know if that's a similar story here where Biofrost coming back in, it's kind of he's going to really be able to step it up.
I think Vincent has definitely stepped it up a lot. Yeah, I think there was a lot of problems that we had as a team, and we thought that having Treats in would fix them. And in a lot of ways, like Treats did provide a lot of value and was playing extremely well when he came in. Uh, and I just think both of them have very different strengths. One of I think Vincent's like great strengths is that on the champions he's good on, he's really good, and he does have a great eye for plays in certain situations. We just have to be in those situations. So playing to his strengths is a little bit more picky, I guess. But I think that Vincent has overall like great laning fundamentals, and I'm more in tune with his like instincts in lane. So it just lets me play a little bit more freely early game. And I hate to compare them like in terms of strength and weakness because I just think they both have a lot going for them. They're both excellent players. It just comes down to we were coming up on the Golden Guardian series, and I didn't want laning phase to go awfully like it did last time. And I think it's just if me and Treats were to play together, we would just need a lot more time to figure things out and gel. So subbing Bio back in was kind of like the team's decision to kind of like cover up some of the problems that we were having, and then we just kind of going with it because we end up winning that series, and it's just like, okay, we have another week. I think Vincent has done a great job in a lot of ways in like kind of like restoring some of his problems and really trying to come in because like it's probably the first time ever being benched. He's been kicked off teams before, like kicked off TSM, but I don't think he's ever actually been benched. And so when he came back, I think he had a lot of drive to fix those problems. And yeah, I mean, no player is gonna revolutionize themselves in like a couple days or a week, but I think he's been making good progress.
Yeah. Do you think that North America has any chance at Worlds this year? Because everybody just keeps saying NA lol, and it is difficult to see. I think with the narrative of C9 stomping everyone, then C9 kind of falling apart, and a lot of teams that had struggled to kind of get their stuff together for so long, starting to get it together here at the very end, like your team, for instance. I think it's given a lot of people not very much faith in North America, especially in a year where, historically we haven't performed well, right? So confidence, I think, in NA is really low right now going into Worlds. I'm kind of curious if you think that that's justified or if perhaps people are a little bit more negative than they should be.
I mean, I think it's both sides. Like some people are justified, and I think some people are more negative than they should be. It's not just like one collective voice that represents like the internet, but I think realistically, NA is always the underdogs at Worlds because we've never been great internationally. The furthest that we've made it is like semis at Worlds and finals at MSI. So I don't think that those are like really great crowning achievements, to be honest. Those are just like something to think about, but not like something substantial. And I guess I don't really care. Like this is just like my personal opinion, but I just don't care what people say. It doesn't affect me in any way. It doesn't stop me from giving it my absolute full effort. I don't care if we're the underdogs or everyone's hyping us up and saying that we're going to be like the greatest in Stomp, because reality is like anything can happen. Like and any team can win Worlds. It's just unlikely. But that doesn't make it any like less of a like great cause for me to try. So, I mean, if every player came into it thinking like, oh, we have a lower chance of winning than like the top 2 regions or the top 3 regions, then half the people at Worlds will just not really be in it for the right reason. Like, it's an honor to play at Worlds, and it's something that I look forward to every single year, and I try my best to make it there, and I've been successful at it. I just haven't made it far since I got there, but I don't think like having a loser's mentality or having a defeatist mentality is going to help anyone. So I just don't care. I think that's my answer. I just don't care what people say. It's never affected me and it never will, but I think if I was like to play the part of God or something and to say that like there's a percentage chance Does NA have a chance at Worlds? The answer is yes. Like, is it higher of chance that NA is going to win or make it out of groups than the LPL teams? Objectively, like, no. Because if you look at the statistical data, like, the answer is no. I think everyone is giving it the same amount of effort, though. And that's why people watch Worlds. It's because it's like, it's awesome to see that.
Taking a step away from Worlds, one of the things I saw people spamming in Twitch chat was Doublelift proving to C9 that spring split doesn't matter. And you got a lot of heat in spring for saying spring split doesn't matter, but it is ironic now that MSI did not happen this year, and C9, the spring split champions, are not going to Worlds. So I'm kind of curious, reflecting now at the end of summer, do you feel justified at all in some of your earlier statements about spring split not mattering, or what's sort of your take?
I think if you were to look at the context of it, I do feel really embarrassed to say that spring split doesn't matter while I'm not giving it my full effort, because I feel like that was really disrespectful to my teammates on TL who were. And in a lot of ways, like, I feel like now that's being taken out of context, where I wasn't like a prophet or anything. I was just stating a simple fact. Spring split doesn't matter for anything important to me.
Right.
Which is, I knew since like quarantine and COVID had started that MSI was a really low chance of happening, almost nearly impossible, because travel was being shut down. So what is really the benefit of winning spring? It's like playoffs experience and all these things. And I was feeling really demotivated because I was coming off of like a really chaotic like Worlds where we were, again, one game off and a lot of things were happening. And then Riot makes this announcement that like the only thing that really matters for standing at Worlds and who qualifies for Worlds is summer split. So I was just thinking like, wow, like why didn't they just consolidate summer and spring split into just like one giant split and have like every match actually count towards something really meaningful, which would be like attendance at Worlds, the thing that the North Star, the thing that every pro player dreams of to play on the world stage. And like, anyways, I don't want to go into a rant like against Riot or anything like that. It just, I didn't really like that. And I think if I was to go back in time, I wouldn't go out and publicly say like, I'm not really trying my best. I'm kind of just, going through the motions of practice and playing on stage, because I feel like that was so disrespectful to my teammates and I feel really bad about it. But looking back now, I think the general idea of like, yeah, spring split really didn't matter as much. I probably should have gracefully sucked it up and did my best because my teammates were doing their best. And motivation, put my motivation issues aside, because that would be the selfless thing to do. And yeah, now that I think about it, it's actually pretty funny because C9 winning spring had absolutely no effect on the end of their year. It's miserable. I feel awful for them because they worked so hard, they did so well, and they fumbled it towards the end. It's like, was their energy misplaced? Like that high that they were riding, the incredible amount of like focus and desire to win that they had, did they have the same amount of intensity towards the end of the season? It's like motivation and discipline and focus is honestly like a finite resource for a pro player. You realistically cannot be giving it your 110% or even 100% the entire year. You have to like pace yourself so you don't burn out. And yeah, I feel like C9 might have like, I guess, put the fire on too early in the season, and then towards the end they just kind of like sputtered out. And I feel horrible for them because they were a great team, and I'm sure they're looking back and they have a lot of regrets. But summer split's all that matters. XD.
Yeah, I mean, and what's ironic too is I believe they would have been going to Worlds under the previous system, is what I have.
Yeah, exactly. The system change was just crazy to me. I couldn't believe it. How could they do that to LCS? I still don't understand it. I mean, it's good for me because it's double elimination, and now I'm making it to Worlds, right? My team was 9th place in spring, and now like Team Liquid is 1st. So I don't know. Like in the end, I guess the system benefited me, but in a way, like I still can't ever agree with it that they made it like that.
Well, do you think? Because here's the sort of counter argument that people are saying is like, well, C9 isn't in the top 3 teams right now in terms of strength. So maybe it's a good thing that they're not going to Worlds, right? I mean, a lot of people protested or were upset whenever 100 Thieves went a while back, even though they didn't look super strong. And so there's an argument to be made, I guess, that the new format is superior to the old one, and that we wouldn't want to send C9, who is potentially, worse than you or FlyQuest, to Worlds.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about like when you define like what's fair, there's an element of like what is like deserved. And for C9 to perform so well for most of the year, you feel like they deserve to go to Worlds. And because they're so dominant, because they elevated the region, because they like played in a way that no one else had been playing, and they actually made everyone in the region better, it is deserved that they should go. And winning Spring Split in such a dominant way adds to that like deservedness. So I just can't agree ever really, because it just takes away so much substantial like substance from the first half of the year. LCS is a marathon. Like every match should matter. Every match should feel good. Like when I essentially automatically, in a way, like qualified for Worlds by winning Spring Split in years past, I felt amazing because I felt like my hard work, I earned something through it, and now I deserve to have a really high chance of going to Worlds like through that circuit point system, and like I deserve to go to MSI because I worked really hard, and they just took that away, and so like I felt really empty in Spring Split. I still will never justify like my behavior because I acted like a little kid, and I should definitely never have like publicly said, yeah, I'm not like giving it my full effort right now. That is like a terrible response to it, but I still will never agree with like the system being changed like that.
Well, before we go, I do have something for you. I was watching the Sneaky Meteos co-stream. I've been doing this a little bit lately. And I asked them when I found out I was going to be interviewing you if they had a question for you. So I don't know if you can open up chat on Skype.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
I got
so
you.
I'm going to link this to you. Just open it and then pause it so that we can time it, and we'll do a countdown and start it together.
Yo, Travis said, do I or Sneaky have a question for Doublelift? How did you learn to play Senna?
Was it Meteos's Twitch chat tips?
Was it my flame in Twitch chat? You can be honest.
Flame in Twitch chat. I don't.
Yeah, I feel like that's fine because I feel
one.
like the series wasn't at all about bot lane comparatively to like the other ones.
So you're saying bot lane doesn't matter?
No, just the series. It didn't seem to nearly have as much impact as like Golden Guardian series and maybe other ones. And I mean, Senna seems like a very strong pick.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. The question was, first off, I think Sneaky's partially right that there wasn't that much action bot lane, but I don't think that means that bot lane was not impactful, because the better bot lane is enabling the support to roam more without the AD being behind. And I think we had a lot more map presence than the enemy bot lane, even though the action was not centered initially around bot. Like there are multiple times where I'm holding my TP or my Senna ult, or we win a trade so Vincent gets to roam and put vision around mid, or like influence a mid fight faster. Actually, I remember in our Evelyn game too, I mean, there's just so many instances where we're moving faster. So even though like it wasn't looking flashy, I think we were doing a really great job in influencing the game. I mean, our entire game plan was to play around jungle and topside. So anyways, the initial question was, how did I learn how to play Senna? And it's really just like, I always hated that everyone memed my Senna because I felt like my mechanics on the champ were really good. I almost never miss my Q in lane. I'm constantly lining up my support for the heal. Like, I don't think I really do anything poorly on Senna except for like normal things that every AD carry missed positions on, right? Like there was a game where I got hit by a hook, and I would have got hit by a hook by like no matter what AD carry I was playing, like because I was just playing so poorly that game. But like, there's just also weaknesses of the champion that make me look worse, which is like Senna is really awful at farming mid and late game. So naturally, you're gonna fall behind your opponent. Everyone's like, I read the comments. It's like, yeah, Doublelift is just like he's just horrible at farming. I'm like, wait, what? Like, who is actually good at farming on Senna? This champion just like doesn't clear waves. So and like naturally, you're gonna want your teammates to take the farm because you're playing more of a supportive role. So I always hated that, and I tried my best to like. I don't let the stuff affect me, right? But it definitely, I guess it does affect me in a way of like I see it as a challenge, and I really like the idea of just like proving people wrong. Like I want them to like shut the fuck up about my Senna because I think I'm a great player, and I think I should be able to play the champion at a high level. And I fully believe in my abilities. Like I have like utmost confidence that I'm gonna be able to do it. So we weren't. I remember in the regular season I played one Senna game against FlyQuest. We lost, and it was like I look back at that game. I'm like, was there something that I could have done differently to influence the game? Not really. So I'm still on board, guys. Like I'm gonna pick Senna in the right situation, and I feel like every player on our team is kind of a side note. Every player on the team is an expert at their role, which naturally should allow them to pick whatever champion they want in the right situation. So if you feel really strong, so in this series, I felt really strongly that I should play Senna, and based on the comps that we were like looking to draft, and so I just told my team, yeah, lock it in, like fucking first pick it. Like I don't care what he plays into it because I know I'm gonna do really well, and it worked out. So I think it's just practice, self-confidence, studying the game, trying to see like always iterating like what can I do better, what are some things that I can do differently to like min-max a champion, and then execution. And I think finally I was able to execute. I think it was 0-5 on the champion before. Now I'm 3-5. So nice.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you're working
hard work
on it.
pays off.
Yeah. Increase, getting to a 50-50 ratio soon. Anything that you want to say to any of your fans out there? Because I know this has gone kind of long.
Oh yeah, it's been a banger interview, long one. No, I mean just thanks to all my fans, all the haters, all the supporters. I really, it's always just fuel, and it's always just great to see. I think this is really awesome that I joined TSM, and the team hasn't made Worlds in years, and now we can finally go to Worlds, and I'm super happy, especially for BB and Spica, because it's their first Worlds ever. I'm literally happy for everyone, actually. Soren has been like probably feeling awful that he hasn't been able to go for multiple years, and our team, we have our fair share of problems, but in the end, like we all care about each other a lot. I'm sure that you guys can tell, and going to Worlds, it feels like a dream come true for the team, and I'm really just proud of us, and I'm really happy about it. So thanks for the support.
Should fans expect a TSM grudge match finals, grand finals?
Oh yeah, that's one thing we haven't talked about. It's like, well, this playoffs is definitely not over. I don't really want to lose to my old team, so I'm really looking forward to rematching TL and taking him out.
Nice. Well, looking forward to seeing how the rest of playoffs goes for you. Congratulations on making it to Worlds. Looking forward to seeing what TSM can do there. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things League of Legends esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hello. Hope you've been enjoying my coverage of the LCS playoffs. I've been enjoying my LCS coverage, because a lot of you guys have been watching my videos, and including this one. That feels very nice. Either way, the whole point of this is to let you guys know that, in the past I referenced Intel Gamer Days happening with Alienware. Well, guess what? They've just kicked it into second gear. Is that what you kick it into? Fourth gear? Fifth gear? They've kicked it up a notch, because they now have 17% off of Intel systems. If you go to alienware.com/Travis, you'll see a code there. That's until September 6th. So if you're watching this after September 6th, you've waited too long to watch my content, and this should be a lesson to you to only watch my content whenever it's fresh and hot off the grill, hot off the camera, whatever. Alienware.com/Travis. There's a link in the description below. You'll see a banner at the top talking about how to get 17% off an Intel system. And this outro is going way too long.